I'm making a lot of ball pythons, guys. A lot. And I'm making silly ball pythons. Okay, here. Everybody loves pies. Look at all these beautiful pied balls.
So how do you make a pied?
So a pied is a recessive gene. So heterozygous piebald, by all theory, looks very much like a wild type ball python, but there's often a lot of giveaway markers that will definitely lend towards the idea that it's a het. So the full expression of a recessive mutant gene is this. Did we all know that Jack Russell Terriers are a piebald dog?
Well, if I knew it, the audience definitely does. So Kevin, you weren't at Tinley Park because you're too good for it,
guys.
So you're telling me?
COVID is really hurting. It's hurting the operation of things. It's hurting staffing problems, supply for my animals. Just getting, like, we breed a lot of rodents. I cannot get enough mice per se to feed my little ball pythons, and so everything is like a real challenge. And the most important thing to me is my animals, my immediate animals, more so than trying to go to a show and then try to sell stuff. I actually do fine just staying here, chasing my own tail around. Here's a clutch, it's just hatching. This is Cypress. It was a Cypress clown sugar bred to spider genetic stripe stuff. And that's pretty cool. So breeding the clown stuff into the genetic stripe stuff. But look at the striping on that. That's pretty cool. I'll show you a good one. So here I took like a pied like crazy gene. It was just this cool snake, and I bred it into like the bald. And this makes the bald is really cool. The bald is kind of like, I guess, Nerd's kind of orange dreamy kind of thing, but these are het pieds, and look at the bellies. That's what this other gene, just from a pied, a weird looking pied, but the two culminated together. I really like that. I like the bellies, I like the color, and then you can look at a litter mate where those genes are not being expressed. And it's so you really have, this is like a combo, these two different things, but these are very subtle. But when I combine these together over other different genes, amazing results. So I was talking about the bald gene. So if I really start working on the bald gene and I get it to express itself fully, so this is like a super bald with a whole bunch of other genes, but you start making, the coloration is excellent, the pattern and limiting things, it just accentuates everything. I love, like, okay, here's like a bumblebee enchi, so it's a pastel spider and an enchi and the bald gene, and like the head of that is exceptional. I love the spider with their pattern reduction, all sorts of pattern reduction, like on that one. And no two of these snakes are the same. But there's a lot of cool stuff in this clutch.
Hey, and if you guys want to buy any ball pythons from us, go to newenglandreptile.com. Pop-ups are the worst. Get these things out of the building. If you need breeder racks, just buy these.
We're talking about some of our next video ideas. Over here?
Yeah, right here. I just don't want this ugly 1980s frame tub.
1974.
Was it really?
Yes.
Why do you still have this?
I built it with crayons and paper mache.
It looks like it.
And twigs.
Was this was this like literally the thing?
Twigs and berries.
Tell me more about this.
Isn't it wicked cool?
Was this like the best thing in your day?
It's excellent. It still is actually quality. So Freedom Breeder Rack Systems, which is basically the innovative force of our industry, one of the greatest things that was to change was actually the use of racks and being able to manage your animals in a very methodical way. One of the keys to actually being a good reptile keeper, I talk to actually good reptile keepers and they tell me how they do it. But one day I'm going to be there, is consistency. Husbandry is really good. If you have 30 animals in a rack, you have 17 animals in a rack, being able to consistently take care of all 17 the same and giving them, what they need, good husbandry, which is like clean water, all sorts of different stuff. But rack systems are amazing. And then of course we have things like Reptile Basics. Mm-hmm. See right here? Whoa. Reptile Basics
Dude, this is Instagram worthy stuff.
This-
do you got enough room to operate? Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, just making
So-
sure. I'm good.
You ready?
I know the drill. Yep.
That is really interesting. Okay, so let's just finish up with this.
Sure.
So on his left side is where I did the procedure. Let's see if we can get him to show it. Can you see that?
For you to. Oh, there you go. There you go. I can
Okay.
see it. I can see it.
So it's on his left side. You can
Oop.
see like a divot and some swelling. So Lucifer went through about 21 days of antibiotics, and I terminate that at around 21 days because it does have an effect. I was using Aminoglide, so it's going to have an effect on its renal system. So that's going to basically talk about kidney function and all that. You have to always make sure you're managing the hydration of these animals and the quality of. Look,
Oof.
oh my God!
Goodness.
Well, yeah, that's why we have. That is amazing.
Wow.
Look at the venom, Lucifer.
I wonder why he went after that.
Okay, that's
Interesting.
really because there's a lot of ball python smell on this. That was pretty cool. The amount of venom on there right now.
Those are the foam pieces we put on there so we didn't
Yeah.
scratch the glass.
And also for angry king cobras to get their yayas out. And actually, I think to a degree, when I do procedures on these guys, sometimes I let them like bite into a towel because I do that because I think that the animal is at least being satiated in the idea that it's able to defend itself somewhat, and it's doing something to mitigate the predator, because he doesn't really quite understand what I'm doing, and so it's obviously something that I'm putting him in a life-threatening situation. But if you can see what he looks like, I've been worming him. He's eating. He's been more actively shedding. So remember, guys, we've talked about it. So when a snake is going through multiple sheds, or the frequency of the sheds, those are usually indicators that maybe something is wrong and the animal's trying to heal on its own, or you're doing something with that animal and it's showing you that its immune response has kicked in. Animals with no immune response are generally probably not going to shed a lot. And believe it or not, the shedding process takes up a lot of energy from snakes, and it's really it requires a lot, and it takes a lot out of them every time they shed. But the frequency of shedding, if you're noticing that, it's either a telltale sign that maybe something's going on. It could be having like something simple as a protozoan infection, where it's shedding its gut lining because things like amoeba and protozoa are ulcerating the GI tract and the stomach. Or it could have a wound like this, or we have a parasitic infection, which we've basically been dealing with. So I'm dealing with everything from trematodes, flukes, cestodes, to normal things like asterids and strongyles, pinworms, anything like that. So I'm hitting with all that because I want to deal with the fact that this snake, before I ever got it, was being fed wild rat snakes. And I think we ran into a little problem there. You are actually looking, remember the lesser platinum that I did the procedure on, with the big encapsulated cysts? After I did the surgery, there was all sorts of different comments, like if I was going to remove the pocket, but I'd run out of lidocaine, and when I was getting in there, I just didn't feel good about removing the sacs and all that, because I'd have to actually cut them all out, and then I'd probably have to either suture those or basically just cauterize them. But I chose to just empty them, put her on a round of antibiotics. But she was developing follicles, and at that point, her follicles kept growing regardless if I bred her or not. And I knew if I didn't breed her, she'd probably ovulate and lay slugs. So I actually bred her. And so I bred her, put a male in there, and this is all during her healing. And now I left her with her eggs. She actually laid a successful clutch. I didn't breed her with anything particularly special. I just was kind of like, let's just see what happens. So we have a very maternal mommy. So she's gonna sit here and she'll try to bite me. And so the way I can kind of mitigate this, and I'm gonna touch her, okay? And then I'm gonna look under her water dish. I knew it. Okay. So these have been out for a couple days. Look at this. So this little lesser platinum. So this is a het pied. and he's gonna pee on me. But you see that little ringer right there? So that is, in this case, it's very definitive that it's a het pied. Then we have a spider. Look, it's a spider.
It's gonna die.
No. If I just, this is something that she's, been through many, 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 many times, being touched, and then nothing bad's happening to her. So let's take a look. A couple more. Here's another lesser platinum. So a lesser platinum guy, this guy's going into a shed. So a lesser platinum is actually a visual heterozygous of the homozygous blue-eyed lesser platinum. So it's a blue-eyed leucistic. So if I take two of these heterozygous animals together, and when I breed them together, what would actually happen in theory is 25% of the resulting offspring in theory would be blue-eyed leucistics, and then I could have maybe 50% lesser platinums and another 25% just normal wild types. So we have 3, 4, 5. Let's take a look at the eggs. 1, count. 2, 3, 4. Snarfles. Okay, so it's 5. So we've completed as much as we could. And so the last thing we'll do is actually let's take a look at the wound and see what it looks like maybe 6 months later.
It's on the right side of it.
All right, guys. I don't see
It's a good sign.
I don't see anything. Wow, that okay. I'm really pretty happy about that. No, look at that. That's awesome. Hi, baby. All right, so it's right here. I see it. I was looking too far back.
Something a little closer. Looks good to me.
It looks great. It hasn't returned. I'm happy with that. She can, her little babies, you guys stay in there. So, mom still has a bond with these, and it's generally, I believe it's a chemical bond. So, when these babies shed, she's really going to start losing some of her bond. And then, I'm going to wash her off with a little bit of diluted dishwashing detergent so I get rid of the egg smell. And we got to get her back to eating because she is not fed a single time while she was gestating. So she's maternally incubating those eggs. And so all the time she's gestating, which is the eggs internally, and then when she lays them, she's maternally incubating those. So that whole period of time, months and months, no feeding at all. So I think she's going to want to eat very soon. This. Hi. So let's maybe, let's see. First of all, let me see if you're even interested. She looks pretty interested. Are you interested? Yeah, I think so. Hi. I know. Come here. Give her a chance just to figure it out, what's going on.
Whoa. Walks it down to the front.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. That's the more. So you can follow. You can follow Even More God on Instagram, New England Reptile on Instagram, and sometimes we do things like that. I actually did one of Lilith eating a little ball python this way. I put some music to it. Come here. So she's
super confident. Wow.
I keep these animals because I love these animals, and these animals mean a lot to me. Lilith right now is shedding, so she's looking really good. So I think we're headed towards trying to breed Lilith this winter. Those would be the plans. So Lilith will probably come to live downstairs, right in this room.
It's good.
But I give an animal like this a great amount of respect. This animal is so confident that it just is willing to eat right in front of us.
All right.
All right.
Got it.
So I hope everybody liked this. Please, let's hear your comments. So I think one of our next videos we're going to do is on respiratory infections, how to manage it. But today we just did a video blog of random different things. We were going to include baby anacondas. I don't know if maybe we'll pull out a tray of anacondas depending on how long this video can be. But isn't it beautiful?
All right.
I'm going to shout out to my buddy Dingo Dinkelman.
Yep.
And Goliath, I heard, is doing pretty darn well. And it was really great to make a new friend, and actually help him fix his king cobra.
You guys been
one of his king cobras.
You guys been communicating on WhatsApp?
Oh yeah, we
yeah.
He's always asking me questions, which I really appreciate because I have a lot of admiration for him, and for him to take a lot of what I'm saying at point blank is really great.
Oh, Jacob, what do I have here?
Yeah.
Got little baby green anacondas.
Yeah, we
Yep.
got a lot
The
of
best babies.
Yeah, these are great. So these guys just did their first shed. You're not going to join out. You're going to be my stunt double
things I'm doing.
for my bite video.
Just stand in the shot. Just be there.
Pick up a baby anaconda.
It's gonna bite me.
I know. Okay, so baby green anacondas are incredibly defensive. The world wants to eat them, certainly where they come from. In South America, anything from fish, frogs, raptors, caiman, anything like that is really going to want to eat these guys. So what we're going to do is just they were born a couple weeks ago. They've gone through their first shed. So at this point, we're keeping them communally, and we're going to set them up individually and then getting them to eat their first meals. The thing about baby anacondas, they're born with a really good yolk supply, and they have a very efficient metabolism. So a lot of times they don't just necessarily eat right off. Initially, when we feed them, what do you like to feed them, Jacob?
A little bit of everything to get them started.
Well, that's not the answer we wanted.
No.
What do you feed
We're going
them
to work
exactly?
on him. Come on, keep going.
Always start off with mice and rats, basic stuff, see what wants to eat, and then from there, it starts to get kind of complex and confusing. You're going to be scenting, trying a little bit more obscure prey
Scenting with
items.
what? Your dirty socks?
Always.
Okay.
Guinea pigs, fish, birds like chickens, quail. Pretty much throw the kitchen sink at them and see what exactly will get them started. There's not really one key to getting these guys.
Now, are we noticing the
established.
difference in handling techniques, guys?
No, Jacob, I'm not gonna rip on you too bad, Jacob. But I've noticed working with you the last couple times I filmed you that you are so sporadic, and with the retics especially.
Retics were weird that
And I'm
day.
the most hyperactive person, as Donnie knows.
Yeah.
Even I have to pull it together to collect my animals, but you can kind of collect these guys. Well, I'm working on him. I'm
Good.
He's going to Costa Rica next week, so he can
That's
go
right.
play with Schlegel, right?
A little bit of ball throps.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. So these guys are born with a really good yolk, so feeding sometimes takes a little bit. And in rare cases, fish. Scenting with fish. Because obviously these guys are ultra boa water snakes. Contrary to what people think, green anacondas do not necessarily have to get huge. Actually, if you have an anaconda, female over 12 foot, that really is recognition that you've done an incredibly good job, really good husbandry, and you're dedicated to that. It actually takes quite a while to grow that big. Male green anacondas, like a lot of the ones we work with that, I've been breeding green anacondas for years. My males are only anywhere from maybe 6.5 to 8-ish foot, where my females often are like the 10 to 13 foot. If I want to get a green anaconda over 12 foot, I'm really going to have to work at it and their size potential. But I'm keeping these animals terrestrially, and that means largely they're going to have like a situation like a reticulated python or a Burmese python, and I'm not going to give these giant water vessels. And the reason for that, when I give giant water vessels, they like to pee in them. and that really can foul the way I keep them. So we try to, even though, you know, sometimes we'll give them the large water vessels, they'll load in there, they flood the cage, all this different stuff. So unless I create like a water feature type enclosure, which at some point we're going to be doing some of that, building dwarf caiman things, crocodile monitor displays, water monitor displays, stuff like that. So, but here's a really nice, we have 2 really killer litters of baby green anacondas born. We had roughly 20 in one litter, and we thought it was only 16, but we realized a couple had gotten out of the cage. We got 7 right off the bat, and then I got 2 more.
Did they go through the middle of your the enclosure?
Yeah, they went right through my little shift dividers.
Yep.
And it was, you know, we just find them randomly.
First time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Dude, I got video of them doing
anacondas,
that.
There is no importation of green anacondas into the United States. So the only little green anacondas you're ever going to get are going to be captive bred green anacondas, and this is certainly no easy feat. Megan Kelly, Jay, I heard over at Prehistoric, just had a litter. Was it Parthenogenesis, you think?
I think, but just remember, guys, buy them from us, not Jay Brewer.
No, well, we're all friends.
But we need the money more.
Yeah, but I got lots of nice green anacondas from 2 different litters.
And Jay's a billionaire. We all know he is.
That's
Look
right.
at his YouTube analytics. He's killing it. So buy from us.
So buy from us.
There you
We're
go.
desperate. Please help us. Say goodbye.
Perfect. I gotta turn my camera on, dude.
You didn't turn your camera.